Hello everyone. My name is Reshaldo Shafwanatha S.L. I'm from Pontianak. I'm 23 years old. I'm a fresh graduate majoring in information system at Gunadarma University, and I have experience in student associations in information system as a chief executive in the front and back end education program. I understand the basics of management in managing an organization according to my experience, and I feel that when in an organization, my space is still very limited regarding practical matters, especially regarding the scope of the challenge when managing an organization. Then, with great hope, I will get the opportunity to work in the field of management more deeply and have clear focus. Therefore, I continue to look for opportunities to realize my desire as a worker in the organizational managerial field, and in the end, maybe this is the at least the reason I'm more motivated to take part in an iAccelerate program in Indosat. My biggest achievement was having a positive impact on the organization with the capital reading of the campus situation and analyzing the needs of the students majoring in information system, which then gave birth to the idea of creating an educational program or discourse regarding the back end and front end program, which aims to make an organization that is really needed by the mass of its members who are also deepen academic knowledge carefully. I feel grateful that this program has succeeded in uplifting enthusiasm and restoring the existence of the organization as well as restoring the essence of the organization itself. Because during a pandemic situation and in the midst of a moral crisis experienced by friends of the organization's management, previously there were only discussion about social activities and were always bumped by in circumstances. Then this front end or back end discourse program become an organizational alternative to boost and get out of adversity. The success you get is, of course, not as instant as turning your palms. We went through a fairly long process, starting from an idea that arose because one of my activities was learning via YouTube, and I developed it into a conception to be used as an alternative program. Then I initiated to hold an agenda to encourage the cultivation of alternative programs from the organization, namely the front end and back end discourse. After discussing the result, agreed that this discourse program would be an alternative program. I explained the more explicit requirements down the technical matters. Then I then I persistently continued to control each team to ensure that everything went according to plan. Until at the testing stage, I and my board members agreed that this was right, and during the testing period, I also took the initiative to market it vigorously to all members, especially members who will work on their final project. Until the implementation stage, I still involve myself to continue to guide this alternative program carefully until it is finished, because this is the first discourse program in the organization, and I think it would be very good if was made into a strategic program. So I reinitiated to evaluate alternative programs until finally the program it can survive in the dynamic situation. When creating an educational program like what I told you about earlier, I was struggling because I was an active student at that time. It was clear that I had activities to take part in existing course, which this alternative program was very likely to disrupt my focus on lectures and my rest time. because I realized it is true that at that time the board members were in a moral crisis. To deal with this difficult situation, I have to play myself as a friend who understands feelings as well as a logical and systematic organizer. Maybe at first, I have to patiently face reasons that don't make sense and always deal with disciplinary actions until my fellow administrator starts to understand the situation and the good impact of the idea that I sparked to become an alternative program. In such a downturn situation, I often get a ridicule or words that justify myself that I shouldn't be, but because I'm well aware of the environmental condition of my organization, I'm persistent in helping my fellow administrator to recognize and understand the situations. I continued to take a persuasive approach with the chairman of the association and the deputy chairman of the association at first until they understood the conception of the idea of this discourse to its impacts later. Then I got closer to the other friends to provide emotional assistance, which I then took the initiative to consolidate thoughts through the program discussion agenda. Until finally it has been agreed as an alternative program, I deliberately place myself as the person in charge of this alternative program, with the intentions that I will devote all my abilities and intentions to this program for the common good. I think that's all for me. Thank you.